Alright, today I want to show off a new CoreXY that I'm designing. I'm calling it the SimpleXY. I want to design it to be assembled as simply as possible. I want it to have a small gantry footprint, and I want to optimize for speed and reliability. What inspired me to do this was on a lot of my 3D printers, I've noticed that there's always a little bit more of the bed left that the um, extruder can't reach, or the print head can't reach, because the print head is too wide. For example, if I look at all these Voron ones, for example, they're just super wide. You can tell there's a lot of wasted space. I've just never understood why it's like that. So I took a lot of inspiration from the VZBot print head right here, and how simple and low profile it is to start designing my own thing. So another reason why I wanted to do it is just to see if I could. I wanted to test my skills. So this is version 1 of the assembly that I made. It's okay. The fan right here is attached by magnets to the base. The blower mount is attached right here just with heated inserts, and I'm using a cartographer probe on the bottom. But what I really didn't like about this model was the fan ducts that I designed. So what I did with this was basically just put a circle cutout in here and make this square, but I didn't like it. Wasn't really what I was looking for, so I decided to redesign it and make it a little more simple. So this right now is 3 parts that'll go on there, plus the probe and the hot end and the extruder. So I'm using a Orbiter 2.5 for all these. I think it's a tested design. I've enjoyed it. I've never had problems with it. I'm using the cartographer probe on it because it's cheaper than the beacon probes that I have been using, and it has the ADXL 45 built into it for input shaping. This second version that I designed, is a little bit wider, but only on the bottom. So this will hopefully, if the aluminum extrusion from the frame is up here, this will be able to go under the extrusion, so this will still have the maximum area available to it on the bed. For example, I've noticed that on my Ender 5s, there's the 220 millimeter area, but there's still this 10 to 15 millimeter gap on all sides, and I really want to optimize to get the most out of my print bed, so I can build this as cheap as possible and have the most size available to me. And like I said, I really like the cartographer probes because it's cheaper and it has the ADXL built into it. Now, for my control board, I'm using the Manta MP4. I've had really good experience with these. I think it's a lower profile. I'm trying to optimize for as little space as possible so I can make this as compact as possible with the biggest print area possible for me. So with this, the Raspberry Pi, or their version of it, is built in right here, and everything is localized to this board. So especially for wiring, it's a lot cleaner in my opinion. So my plan for this one originally was to have all the belts in the back. Let me hide this for you. Was to have all the belts in the back right here, and they'd just be held on by zip ties. But when I printed this out as a test, I realized that this was way too flimsy right here. It was too thin. So on my second design, I'm taking inspiration from the Mercury 10G, which has the belt held on by these in the front right here. I built one of these. I had a really good experience. I thought it was a solid machine, and I didn't have any problems with the belt slipping. So I'm taking that concept of these belt grabbers, and I'm placing them here and here on the sides. So hopefully that allows me to have the belts not run into the gantry as they go to the farthest left or the farthest right that they can go. I've also had problems with that in the past for some of my printers that I've built. Originally, the fan was held on by magnets in the front, but now I'm just going to have the fan held on by 2 bolts up here that also bolt on the clamp for the nozzle. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if it's going to be too much stress on the fan with these 2 bolts also holding in the nozzle, but we'll see. I can obviously pretty easily redesign it in the future. And then with in the future, I want to redesign the probe mount right here. I don't really like these, but it was just something I put together. This will be held in with heated inserts in the bottom. So yeah, I just want to show that off. I'm taking inspiration from the Mercury 10G belt as well. Like I said, I didn't have a problem with this, so we'll see. It's going to be a 2-wheel drive system. I've built 4-wheel drives in the past. I really liked them. Just to get started for my first design, I want to do 2-wheel drive, but in the future, I'll put it to 4-wheel drive. It won't really be that hard. I think the biggest problem I'm going to have is the belt tensioner. I've done a few designs in my head. I think that when I move to the 4-wheel drive, though, it's going to be a challenge for me to tighten the belt, but I think I have a few ideas for that I'll talk about later in another video. These fan ducts, I've never designed fan ducts before, so I'm hoping that this is enough airflow and enough space going to the nozzle. I'm using a CPAP blower on the back of this to reduce the weight. I really like those. I think it provides a lot of powerful airflow, so I think this should be enough. I might have to optimize, the lines going down. I might have to lower it down to the nozzle just to get that optimal airflow, but I'm printing with a lot of ABS and carbon fiber, so I don't think that'll be as much of a problem. The print head itself is going to be printed in carbon fiber nylon, just to reduce some of the warping from the heat. I've had some of these melt under heat before with ABS, so I'm going to do it with the carbon fiber nylon for the print head, and then ABS for the rest of the gantry itself. I think that'll provide me with a lightweight print head that won't melt and a easy to print gantry for myself. The printer itself, when I'm farther along with it, is going to be enclosed, and how I'm going to do that is with cardboard with foam insulation glued in that to make a double layer, and then it's going to slide in between the extrusion to hopefully provide a cheap enclosed area for the printer. And then eventually I will add a chamber heater into that to provide a little extra bump for the printer itself. But yeah, that's really all I have. I just want to show that off. It's something that I'm excited about, and yeah, I'll post more videos about that when I'm done.